Hello and welcome. My name is Ozioma Gwanwu, and I am the founder of World Dream Day. And today we're going to have a special conversation with Paulo Rogerio Nunes, who is an amazing entrepreneur and who is our recipient for our DreamRunner Award for 2022. Paulo and I are going to be talking a lot about a variety of different subjects. We're going to talk a bit about his journey as a dream runner, as well as his approach to supporting and promoting his vision for the future. So sit back, relax, and we're going to get started with a wonderful conversation with Paulo Rogerio Nunes. Welcome, Paulo.
Thank you so much, Ozioma.
Mm.
Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. And so I'm so looking forward to us having this conversation that I hope will serve, people from all over the world. This Dream Runner Award, first and foremost, I just want to congratulate you on being the recipient, our recipient for 2022.
Oh, I'm really, really happy to this, and thank you to promote this important platform throughout the world.
Mm,
Very important.
you're so welcome. And so, for those who don't know what a dream runner is, someone who has taken their idea, their goal, their dream out of their mind and they're moving forward with it powerfully. And as they do so, they're basically inspiring all those around them. And they're also deeply serving their community. Today, what I wanted to do was to get a sense of your story, Paulo. Your journey from the beginning when you first kind of began to get engaged with all these amazing opportunities to present days. Just kind of walk us on what your journey as a dream runner has been.
Wonderful. So, first of all, again, thank you so much for this invitation, for the award, and I hope this conversation can inspire, other people around the world. So, I'm, from Salvador, Bahia, a city here in Brazil, northeast of Brazil, a city that's, as you said, is mostly Afro descendants. Actually, the largest concentration of Afro descendants outside Africa is in Brazil, and the city of Salvador is the mecca of this Afro culture. And I grew up here in this, you know, important city, the first capital of Brazil, and the cultural hub of the country, but also a very unequal city, right? Right, where you have here, a big disparity between those who have resources, access to opportunities, and the majority of population, clearly, Afro descendants that are disenfranchised, and then I was one of these young person, living in those conditions, without having a proper way to shine, right? To have my abilities and my skills in place. So, just to have a context in Brazil, although we are the on the top 10 largest economy in the world, we have, a lot of inequality and a lot of poverty and a lot of violence as well. So growing up in this community was really challenging for me because I had to overcome all the situation about, being seduced by, all this kind of violent environments, to focus on education, focus on finding my purpose, right? So, and then, I dedicated my whole life about, to empower, not only empower myself and try to overcome the poverty, overcome all this situation, but also to um, inspire others, right? To inspire my fellows, colleagues, especially those who are Afro descendants here, but not only that then, but pretty much everybody who want to pursue their dream and to try to find their pathway, and that's it. So that's why I've been creating different organization. I'm part of different movements and associations because I truly believe that we can together we can do much more, and together we can go beyond. So yeah, that's pretty much my journey from very humble background, living in a favela. I don't know if you're familiar with favela, which is pretty much the impoverished areas of the cities in Brazil, to, be a Fulbright fellow, recognized by the Shoka, me working with the research center at Harvard University. So it's really unlikely path, a very unlikely path. But I think my role here is to inspire others and to inspire young girls and boys to do much more
Mm.
and find their
Wow.
way.
Wow, what an amazing, amazing introduction to who you are and what inspires you and keeps you moving forward. What I want to do is I want to actually go deeper into your story because you spoke about how you were basically almost seduced into, that world of violence and the challenges. And regardless of what condition we find ourselves in, there are many moments along the journey of bringing your ideas, goals, and dreams to life where you are seduced by another path. So how did you deal with, in from the inside? What were some of the things you told yourself, or who were some of the people that supported you so that you didn't fall off of the path so you can be who you are to the world and to Brazil today?
Yeah, well, it's a very important question because mostly people, especially young people in the poor communities, they are all the time surrounded by other kind of ideas, right? About get money easily, get all things that's connected with the the and drugs and etc. And I because I had a really strong family, a family who values education. It was really around me. I think I was kind of lucky to at least hear their advices, right? And also myself, I thought I could go to probably the long way, right? Probably hardest way, not the easy way, but the easy way would be like dealing with this kind of not pleasure things, but I mean dealing with this kind of situation, being around people who are doing something bad. But the myself, inside myself, I thought, wow, if I can focus on education, I can focus on entrepreneurship, things that I think it's difficult. It's I cannot say everything is flower, right? So it's really difficult to be entrepreneur, to focus on education where, everybody you're surrounded is pretty much distracted. But I think that's, voice in the back of my mind say, wow, it's possible, you can do it, was stronger. It's funny because all these major process I did for application for fellowships, even to get to the school, to the university, to college, um, you know, a big voice behind me must say, "Well, someone like you probably won't be able to do that because it's not for you, right?" That's as Afro Brazilian person, you're gonna be in Brazil hurting like, "Oh, this is not your place. It's a place for the European descent. It's a place for someone who's rich." And in a lot of times I question myself about that. So is it my place? Is this really my place? Is something that I can really accomplish? And a very symbolic one when I was applying for the Berkman Klein Center at Harvard University was something really, of course, important, a very prestigious university. And before I sent, the application, I was questioning myself, oh, maybe something is a way too much for you. Anyway, so the I'm really happy that I heard the good voice, and I heard the path that is meant to be, which is like believe in myself, right, and try, at least try, right. And I think that's we need to encourage minorities and young folks, especially in the disenfranchised areas, to try, and to believe themselves and to really understand that nothing is guaranteed, nothing is easy, but at least you should try. You should really focus and try.
Wow. What a powerful sharing that you're giving us today regarding that the voices in our heads, right? The voice that says, "Oh, this isn't for you." The voice that says, "Yes, I can." And it may be small, but then it's about how do we grow that positive, empowering voice within us? And how do we surround ourselves with people that can nourish and support our dreams? And
Yeah,
what I find so fascinating about what you spoke about, which I think is important for us to address, is that there are those signals that tell, brown boys and girls and these systemic issues that say, "Oh, this is not for you." And
yeah,
if so many of us are getting that message, then it's going to be so difficult for us to be able to rise. And so, what I love about your story is that you are a reflection of being caught in the crosshairs of these systemic injustices, these issues, and we're still able to be able to connect to your purpose, connect to your values, connect to your vision, and overcome those voices that we all have, regardless of what background we come from. We all,
Yeah.
regardless of what color we are, we all have these voices. And so I want now to move along the journey of, okay, so I've been able to address, or that voice that says this isn't for you is smaller than the voice that says, yes, go forth, go dream,
Mhm.
go activate. Let's now look and explore how it is that you actually make dreams happen, because everyone has a different approach to bringing forth their ideas, goals, and dreams. So one thing we want to do when it comes to dream running is to explore, how do you do it? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just getting a sense of what is your approach to moving ideas, goals, and dreams forward, and what relationship do you create with your ideas as you're making it happen?
Yeah. Oh, it's important reflection. So I think in my view, first of all, we have to guide your mind and guide yourself with a purpose, right? And I think I found my purpose here is pretty much, I mean, different purpose, of course. We don't have only a single purpose, but you have one important purpose in myself, for myself, which is to empower, you know, those young folks who probably don't have a good role models, as the media only portrays specific groups in a specific manner. So I think that's my bigger vision, and I do that in a with a different approach. When I started the media organization, was pretty much to help journalists and the publicists and people around media to tell new stories, and also to encourage minorities and groups that I belong to be part of the media conversation, right? So that's why in 2005, myself and a group of students, I was still at the college by then. We started this organization that's still today, working, training young people to be part of the media space. That was the same when you know, I spent some time in US doing this Fulbright fellowship at University of Maryland, and then I spent some time at the MIT Media Lab, and then I realized, wow, innovation is something that's is growing. People are talking about that, but we need to make this not a elite conversation, but to make this as a really popular conversation that's every single person can be part of this, right? About futurism, about inclusion, digital inclusion, etc., etc. So that's why we created in here the Vale do Dendê, which is pretty much inspired by the Silicon Valley. Those who don't know that, but Dendê means palm oil, and palm oil is a product very common here in Bahia state in Brazil, which is part of our foods. Is it's from West Africa. It's really a West African ingredients. So it's a metaphor about we have something here in Brazil. We have something here local that can be this silicon, these ingredients for innovation, right? So in the format we found is was a incubator accelerator, right? So we pretty much we helped more than 1,000 companies to design their new projects and to find their ways, and we certified 240 companies on this methodology. So I think it was pretty much organic, I would say. I planned something. So for example, in Baldo Dende, we have a 10-year plan. So we end pretty much in halfway what we want to accomplish as a city, to make Salvador this innovation hub. We can talk more about that. Of course, we do plan, specific from those organizations, but pretty much organically, so we can meet people and share the vision. People believe that vision, then this person can help. This person can help you some way. The other person can, collaborate. A journalist can write stories. So it's kind of, it's a spark in a movement, around, doing good, while you really, learning in the process, right? So because there's no formula, you have to learn on the process. If you wanna just work as something new, or you want to create something new, don't think that you just putting notes on your notebook, you're gonna resolve it. It's important to take notes, but it's important to learn while you're doing things, because that's the way things happen.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, these are really amazing pearls of wisdom. So, what other pearls of wisdom do you have for those who are actually moving forward with their goals and dreams? And so, the way I want you to do the sharing is let's look at it from a personal context and let's also look at it
Yeah.
as it relates to business. Like from a
Okay.
business context, what are some of the pearls of wisdom you have?
Well, personal wise, yeah, it is. We live in a society where everybody's anxious, right? So, and including myself, including everybody that's probably watching this session. So, anxiety is something that's they say this the main problem of this century, right?
Mm.
But I will have to pretty much try to be aware of that and try to not to be too much concerned about the things, and try to move forward, right? Because if you have too much words, so you don't have time to really work on things, right? Uh, and then I think that's in personal level. I think that's personal level is something that I'm learning every day, right? To reduce my anxiety and try to, do something good for myself. Try to do, meditation, and all these things that's for a long time people kind of put aside as something that's not it was not important, rather to just focus on work, work, work. But you do have to have a moment for yourself. So I do believe that,
Mm.
and I think on the business side, I think I think the word is collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. You cannot do anything alone. All this organization that I've been creating, I had support of people. I had people guiding me and advising me and working with me. So it is important to kind of collaborate. It's not easy. I don't want to also say that's something easy. Collaboration is not something really simple, because everybody has their different interests, different moments, different psychological standards and mindsets. But we do have to find a way to, as the some traditions say, the Ubuntu philosophy says, right? To collaborate and to among ourselves, because if you go together, we can go far. But if you can go, sorry, if you go alone, you can go far. But if you go together, you can go really, really further. So I do believe that collaboration is a really key thing for the business community right now, right? In the moment when just living a really terrible pandemic where we had to collaborate, right, to survive. The business had to do collaboration with the tech community to do digital gap. People had to collaborate because the health system was really breaking down. So really, collaboration is the word for us now.
Got it. And so, earlier you mentioned about Salvador and, the dream of it becoming a tech hub. Like, tell me a little bit more about, or even more of a tech hub, if you will. Tell me a little bit more about
Yeah.
around what is going on with Salvador and what's possible there.
Yes, perfect. And Salvador has a tremendous potential of being a global city. So many people know the Salvador of Bahia, right? Some people don't know. So it's not the country. El Salvador is the city of Salvador in Bahia. So Salvador in Bahia, it is a city that has 4 million people in the metro area. A historical center that's very unique in the Americas. With buildings from the 16th 17th centuries and 18th century. We have also a very creative people, and as I said, it's a mecca for the Black culture in Latin America. Now, although we have this lot of assets, being also a entertainment city, has a lot of beautiful beaches, beautiful sunsets, and etc. Although we have these gifts from gods, but if for a long time, Salvador was a city kind of not connected with the new possibilities that words giving to us. So kind of insisted in a model about the regular industries and etc. That's not working anymore. So now in this in a moment where you need more civil society engagement, you have civic engagement, civil society engagement. You need much more creative economy. You need more digital. So that in also well-being. So I think Salvador has the potential for all these areas. So in the creative economy, we are considered the music capital of Brazil by UNESCO. So tremendous music styles, dancing. It's very musical city. Um, and then it's connected also with the design and the arts. It's very artistic city as well. And then in the well-being, because the Afro-Brazilian traditions, that's it's kept kind of secret for a long time. We can really have moments and process and companies and organizations here using these skills and these things to pretty much help people who want to be heal, right? To be healing, having healing process. Want to kind of go out of this mess of the urbanization, the crazy thing about just having money, 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 to kind of find themselves in a very ancestral, very unique way. So our goal is to make Salvador the black hub in Latin America, in general, right? To attract, digital nomads, investors, creators, people around music, people around film. We want to have people film here, right? Documentaries and fictions, and also startups, right? Because that's a pretty much a cleaner industry that can make Salvador do something good. And the last point about this is because Brazil itself is a country that's it's an emerging country, right? So we have a lot of challenges here that's is very similar to challenge that you can find in other Latin American countries, as you can find in a lot of African countries and even Southeast Asian countries. So my vision is, you try to resolve that to have a really strong industry, a lot of companies. Brazil is a very entrepreneur. If you may have a chance to visit Brazil one day, those who are watching here, you'll see that. So those problems where we're solving here can be also those tools to solve those problems can be replicated in different contexts. So Brazil could be a leader for the developing world, I would say, if there's more connected, if Brazil is more connected with the world. So of course the language barrier is something that's kind of made the country a little bit close at the outside the global stage. But if you overcome that, definitely Brazil could be a superpower in different ways, but not necessarily military superpower. I mean, the superpower of promotes green power, green energy, to promote the creative economy, to promote wellness, it promotes different lifestyle. To be honest, we joke here we have a Bahian lifestyle, which is something different that people probably outside the Brazil doesn't know.
Wonderful. And so in our last moments here, what I would love for us to do is to actually come back into your dream and get a sense of what is your dream for yourself in terms of the dreams you're working on right now, as well as what is your dream for our world.
Yeah. Well, yeah, several. I'm a dreamer, right? That's why I'm here. So I'm a dreamer, and I think my main dream right now is to pretty much Brazil is suffering so much, with these situations, political situations, economic situations, recovering for the pandemics. So my dream now is put Brazil again in the global stage, as it was, in different moments in the history, but in a different way. So I want to put Brazil in the spotlight globally, not because our problems, that we know our problems, we try to overcome those problems, but I want to put Brazil in the spotlight because our assets, right? Our assets is the Amazon, the nature you have, the people you have here, the Afro culture that's preserved here. I mean, sometimes even more than in some African countries. The way that the lifestyle we have here. So I want to really be the kind of the ambassador for this. new Brazil that must emerge uh, the global stage after this. We've been damaged for a long time. The last years in terms of image. So I want to really put a hotspot because normally media only portrays and talk about the bad things, right? So and I think it's time to us to see the abundance rather than scarcity, right? So I think you should see Brazilians need to do this exercise, themselves, but also globally. I say Brazil is a global giant. It's a global giant. It's a big global giant, but nobody knows really about Brazil, right? With people know the stereotypes, but they don't really understand. They know about caipirinha, they know about samba, but they don't understand the culture, the importance of this country for a new kind of a mindset, for the society, with the indigenous communities, the African communities, everything that you kind of created here. So that's my dream, to overcome our local problems and to make Brazil shine in the global stage. And personally, I want to really, live and that dream, live that dream and make sure I'm available to work every day on that healthily, without having too much problems in myself, but I want to really focus on that. So I just want to dedicate myself and live that dream. So that's pretty much my dream anyway. So probably I want to come back to you, Ozioma, maybe in 10 years and say, wow, I did my part of this, and now I'm in a different moment in my life, but I did my part. That's my dream.
Well, thank you so much, Paulo, for all the work that you have been doing for these many decades and what you've been doing recently. And we celebrate you, we celebrate Brazil, we celebrate greater possibilities. And so thank you so much for being the recipient of the DreamRunner Award for 2022. Any last words that you want to express before we close?
Well, just want to say again, thank you so much for this award. Thank you so much for your voice, for your platform. Thank you so much for this community that believes on, the dream and that makes dreams happen, right? It's not, normally easy. So I truly believe that, if you all are on the same page, you really focus on the abundancy, focusing on connection and collaboration, we're gonna make this world much better for the next generation. So I'm available. I'm on the social media. Anyone wanna talk to me and connect, and luckily, I wanna have you guys here in Salvador as well to enjoy the city and have some acarajé with me, which is our typical food here. Thank you so much.